To welcome you to the International School of Earth Science. The main idea of this lecture was to invite prominent and interesting scientists to introduce contemporary results and new ideas and also state-of-art reviews to inspire young scientists to dedicate their life to the wonderful world of geology.
The story dates back to the late 1960s or the 1970s when we began studying carbonized in much more widespread natural situation that it has been admitted before.
Thank you very much for explaining that history, because a lot of clues took place in the formation of chromites and of halides in the lithosphere.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. I'm glad to be here today. 40 minutes is also very long and somewhat very short to address this point. Carbon isotope is the fundamental. And so what I made today is that I selected a few things that I think should be discussed. There are things that I will not discuss in much details, and you're supposed to come to me and ask me questions, and we can go in detail.
To explain temperature maintenance on the Earth surface. Okay? So, some variation of carbon release, specifically in the subduction zone, should be responsible for the climatic change on Earth. And such a record is widely available under any attempts to find a correlation between these two mechanisms.
Okay, so in my understanding, the CO2 content of the atmosphere is basically buffered by some sort of vapor pressure effect from the dissolved carbon and the ocean itself dependent on evaporation. When you speak about volcanoes, what you mentioned, right? You mentioned the only ocean abundance and arc volcanism will have an effect on the direct effect on short-term effect on the climate because they erupt in the atmosphere.
But for instance, the intensity of carbonatites increased dramatically in the Earth's history. So it means that some kind of flux of CO2 or just increase, not constant as you thought.
Okay,
What
so
do you think about that?
So your point is, if we look at the abundance and the age of carbonatites through time, we see that there is no continuous record. But can you really have representative pictures of carbonatite through time?
Yeah.
I mean, from simply that are we not biased by what we can observe?
No, I believe that definitely carbonatite activity increased dramatically.
Okay, but if we look at the amount of carbonatite through time, the amount of carbon is still negligible compared to what comes from subduction of the ocean.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk about Siberian platform, the spheric mantle, and some features of kimberlite and diamond formation in the history, geological history of that platform. Simple scheme of cross-section of lithosphere of Siberian platform for mid-Paleozoic time. Why for mid-Paleozoic time? Because if we will take this cross-section in Mesozoic time, it will be significantly different. Okay, thickness about 250 kilometers, here is crust, spinolenosolite, rather spinolenosolite, as all of these depleted peridotite, of course. It's graphite diamond transition zone. Depleted, extremely depleted Harzburgite and Donites. Some of them are diamondiferous, and some peroxenites in this area. And here we have secondary enriched peridotites. It's zone of interaction of conducting asthenosphere and peridotites, depleted peridotites of lithosphere. It's secondary enrichment. Also, nickel, chromium thermobarometer by Ryan and Griffin will try to estimate thickness and heat flow for
lithosphere was between second and third stages of imbolites, but that is well after Siberian float vessels stage. So how do you explain this delayed influence of Siberian superglue on Siberian lithosphere?
Okay. Actually, they have. I showed you some xenoliths of Harzburgite from Udachny pipe. Udachny pipe is mid-Paleozoic, and it was visible that they have some transformation of Harzburgite into enriched lepsolite. You see, it's a lot of CPX also. That was happening in mid-Paleozoic time. But this, if we will compare distribution of peroxenitic and dendritic rocks in cross-section of Siberian lithosphere in Paleozoic time, we have this peroxenitic material about 3.54% only. But if we will deal with this Mesozoic kimberlites, this amount will increase sometimes up to 70–80% of peroxenitic material in cross-section of rocks.
Talk is about relationship between isotopic composition of metal material and elemental composition of this source. The main subjects are as follows: causes and causes and patterns of radiogenic isotope reactions in the Earth's mantle. Model ages and the dynamics of the Earth's continental crust growth. That is the dynamics of the mantle depletion process. And the relationships between isotopic and chemical composition of mantle crust.
Сейчас же обед или еще нет?
Нет, еще сейчас ваш директор.
Поститься?
Директор сейчас вас выступает.
Then the material flows from through subduction zone from upper mantle into the lower part of mantle. So must be an oncoming flow.
Can you make an analogy between your data and your model? Is data available for Mars, for example?
As far as I know, Mars differ from chondrites in neodymium isotope. But we have much smaller database on Mars.
Internal structure of the Earth is mainly based on geophysical data and primarily on the depth profile of seismic wave velocities. However, geochemical investigation of material transported from deep levels of the Earth by magmatic and tectonic processes contribute immensely to our understanding of inner geospheres. This deep-seated material may be represented by large blocks, large tectonic blocks, like, for instance, Ronde in Spain or Lerts in France and many others. Of course, a lot of data are on mantle xenoliths from alkali basalts and from kimberlites. And one special type of this material coming from the depth are mineral inclusions in diamonds.
The mantle significantly affect your calculations and predictions about stability of different iron phases.
Sulfur, you mean would affect the
Reaction.
Yeah,
ocean fugacities?
if it would have any significant effect on calculations of oxygen fugacity.
I don't think it would affect very much oxygen fugacity, but of course it would shift existence of metallic phase. It would a little bit expand the field of metallic phase, which can be presented by the metallic sulfide alloy. But basically, the relations between fields of metallic phase, carbides, and diamond would be the same.
It appears that lithospheric diamonds are delivered to the surface inside the host lithologies, peridatites and eclogites. So my question is very simple. How do these low mantle diamonds survive the ascent without like a protecting envelope of the host rocks?
You are right, they certainly do not travel independently. They are surrounded by some material of lower mantle which
in some cases they have not any signs of blue activities and have some kimberlites in some areas. For example, North America, it's Canadian kimberlites, they have Cretaceous age, and all the significant bloom activities was its Mackenzie type system, it's Proterozoic. And in Cretaceous time, not any signs of magnetic activities related with bloom. And a lot of kimberlites, a lot of diamonds, including ultra-deep diamonds.
your question link of kimberlites with plumes and all
Yes.
places, yeah.
And sometimes they have
It's different.
science.
I'm not technicist, it's difficult to answer you.
I can make a comment about that. We don't really have the age of those diamonds. There is only one age that was this very
Age of the
So if the only age we have on one diamond is recent, it has to be related to the plume ascent. If now we question this single dating, we could well think that the diamond were brought from the mantle through convection cells, were incorporated in the lithosphere before being taken by the kimberlite.
Understand, but kimberlites are, all of them, practically all of them are of Cretaceous age, yes? And how were from kimberlitic belts? Because it's like Igor Dmitryevich told, this process of diamond formation in kimberlite melts related with blue.
Okay.
In this condition, will metallic phase solid, or it will be some sort of liquid? In these conditions, in this lower quantum conditions, metallic phase, is it solid phase or it is a liquid phase?
This is a good question. Of course, my diagrams were very approximately, and And in the presence of even small amount of sulfur, it could be
Correct, that there is no magmatic event in the slave craton at 52 million years or so, which is the time of that really large population of kimberlites. So there isn't a plume link specifically in that case. The only context that may be relevant there is, however, that the timing of the opening of the North Atlantic is about at that time. There's a mantle plume, large igneous province of North Atlantic igneous province that has two pulses, one at 60 million years and one at about 55. And that second pulse, which coincides with the opening of the North Atlantic, it is possible that rearrangement of stress regime associated with the opening does allow some pre-existing kimberlitic material access. Well, no, the magnetism is over in the North Atlantic. Yeah, that's true. It's a good question. It is an enigma, but that is the only kind of context that I'm aware of that might be relevant. But there is otherwise no 50-million-year-old magnetism that we see in the area.
Okay, we can take a last question and then it will be the break. You're done?
Кстати, сейчас будешь показывать.
Я все выставил и это самое написал.
Вот в Ховарте когда снимал.
Да?
Где лежит?
В Ютьюбе.
Не дал он грин бутылочек, да?
Ну, он их еще не нашел. Это просто невозможно. Тем больше человек пользуется.
Сильно болен, ты его прямо сильно болен. Нет, это я знаю. На разных степенях. Я когда такая, очень интересно вообще вещь, ее сопоставить.
Он же его должен выровнять.
Не точно.
Не может быть. Он через какое учреждение? Ну, что? Значит, деньги.
Нет, я сделаю через Ховарт.
Ну, что там?
After lunch here is, or after the break is Vladimir Kamenetsky from the University of Tasmania. There's a title and look forward to the presentation. Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, this study started here in Geochemistry in mid-80s by the person who is present in the audience. It's Alex Sobrev. So he started this study, and then it was continued some 15 years ago, and he had the main results of almost 20-30 years of study of kimberlites. But first of all, let me introduce kimberlites because everyone is familiar. So kimberlites are known as a major source of diamonds, and these rocks are exceptionally rare, but they occur on all major continents and recently they were even found in Antarctica. They originate, well, we believe that they originate in the diamond stability field because they carry diamonds, but they never crystallize diamonds. The names of kimberlites are explosive, which also represents an enigmatic feature of kimberlites. And this is a summary published by Egler in 1989 that kimberlites are regarded by the geological and geochemical community with an aura of glamour and mystique. And my task today is to explain why these these rocks are so interesting. So the existing dogma is that kimberlite parental melt can be constrained if we just take aphanetic polar rocks and stabilize carbonate melt, and it starts reacting with the lithosphere, dissolving metal silicates, especially orthopyroxene, and then miscibility was happening, but these globules of silicate melt were entrained, decompressed, and with decompression they started giving the dissolved CO2 away, eventually resulting in a catastrophic breakthrough to the surface. So this is our very simple model, that the kimberlite cement is propelled by immiscibility and degassing CO2 from a silicate component in this silicate conjugate metal. And now we want to explain, but it's still like a working model, and I won't present you the most extreme part of this model. Well, unless you want to see it. Okay? So the current models are of two types. One is pure petrological, like fluidization. Here is a melt of a known composition, but with a lot of water and CO2 dissolved. So on decompression, this gas leaves the melt, and this gas makes its way. But it's not
kimberlites. So if you know what is kimberlite, so very similar in composition, at least for trace element composition, to microinfusions in diamonds. Can we use this microinfusion as a proper kimberlitic melt? That is first question.
Well, it's what you do.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah. So what is your opinion?
No, I thought that sodium and fluoride, all very incompatible elements, they were missed in the previous studies. Though any small partial melt should contain these elements. And if diamond crystallizes in the lithospheric mantle, not necessarily
Timo, what's this reaction that occur actually? You just say the olivine plus the carbonate.
It happens in the dark, so it's already within less than a kilometer or 2 kilometers from the surface.
And from Potsdam, and talking about carbonatites.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Leah Gagarka for inviting me. It's a very interesting meeting. It's nice to be back to the place where I used to work 16 years and left 20 years ago. And because, see, I'm getting old, there will be some historical aspects to this talk, and it was mostly designed for the students. So, experts on carbonatites, please forgive me for simplifying some things a little bit. So, the definition of carbonatite is an igneous rock with more than 50 modal percent of carbonate. And this is a typical example of calcium carbonatite from Brazil, where all this white thing is calcite, and black things are olivine and magnetite mostly. And of course, it's very easy to evaluate the modal proportion of calcite. But the magmatic origin is something that you need to prove, and it has been a matter of controversy whether calcite is made. Very different types of carbonatites. Not calcium carbonatites, but dolomite carbonatites on one hand, with chromium spinel, which is a very important thing. And later on, it was realized that these things are directly produced by partial melting in the mantle, and nather carbonatites of Aldonian and gallium. So, as I told you, it was accompanied by experimental breakthroughs.
The gigantic deposits of rare earth connected to carbonatite, not to other rocks.
No.
So what do you think? What is the reason? I agree that
I from Novosibirsk, and speaking about a particular commodity.
Regarding dear colleagues, first of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to organizing committee for giving me opportunity to participate in such outstanding event. We saw high quality specialists in geology and magnetism. Today I would like to present some new mineralogical and melt and fluid inclusion data about the genesis of carbonate rocks of the Siligdar deposit. As you can see at this slide, the Siligdar deposit is situated in South Yakutia, is parish of Russia.
Система тоже первозданная. Вы видите, как много металлов, да, в некоторых метеоритах. И существует геологические представления, что если, например, в недрах какой-то планеты такое вещество будет разогрето.
Он едет на Украину, и там организует Украинскую академию наук. И избирается ее первым президентом. Первый президент Украинской академии наук. Далее, когда в 2020 году он возвращается в Петербург, он организует радиовый институт. Далее 2 года он преподает, его приглашают в Сорбонну читать лекции по геохимии. Новые науки тогда. Геохимия. И он читает лекции по геохимии в Сорбонне на французском языке. Но тогда у Сорбонны было такое требование. Если они приглашают профессора прочесть курс лекций, то профессор должен написать учебник. И Вернадский пишет учебник.
О, да?
Да. Он прекрасно знает. Но назвал его «Очерки геохимии» на французском языке. Но потом это было переведено на русский язык. Я вам хочу сказать, что я окончала Московский университет, и нам лекцию по геохимии, вот здесь, в Московском университете, научилась на геологическом факультете, на геохимии. И нам лекции читал по геохимии Виноградов, ученик Вернадского. Он очень экономил время, он берег кусочки времени. Вот, допустим, до обеда оставалось 15 минут, он сказал: Владимир Иванович, через 15 минут обед. Он не ходит в ожидании, ой, когда обед. Он или картотеки делает, или что-то еще делает. То есть, короче, он даже экономил. Это самые плодотворные часы работы, то есть с 7 до 12. Как он работал? Он, допустим, он сразу работал над несколькими темами. Допустим, работает с какой-то... Он читает литературу и делает выписки. Посмотрите.